big business story. Any of you guys looking at this AI thing and ChatGPT? Because it's like, whoa, my gosh, like this is like all over the mulberry bush. Guess what? Sam Altman, the founder and CEO of the company, who was ousted on Friday of last week, he's back in. At like 1 a.m, we got the news. Sam's back in town. He's back as CEO of the company. He's getting a new board. Larry Summers is going to be on that board. I actually consider that a good thing. And they are starting over, basically because there was the threat of immunity at the company. I mean, they only have like 700 employees and over 500 of them said, see ya, we're out of here. Microsoft had invested $17 billion in ChatGPT. And so their investment was going to kind of go up in smoke. They brought Sam Altman when the board fired him at ChatGPT. OpenAI is the main name of the company. They say, okay, well, come over here, work at Microsoft. You can run a unit here. But it gets tricky. It gets tricky because there's a lot of intellectual property that would then be the property, right, of ChatGPT and OpenAI. And if you bring all 500 employees as well, still they have all that information. Can they just transfer it to a new company, all while Microsoft flushes its $17 billion down the drain? I don't know. I mean, that would have been very, very tricky from a legal perspective. So it was in Microsoft's interest to basically get the guy back in the seat over at OpenAI, which they did, and get him the board that he wants. So now he's got Larry Summers. He's got a couple others on there. And the question becomes, can you really have a board that's supposed to be protecting public interest in a company that's designed to make profits? I still don't think so. I mean, I think that you've got kind of this misalignment of capital and interests. It's a tricky thing. Brett Taylor is the former co-CEO of Salesforce. He's on the board. Larry Summers, former Treasury Secretary, also former head of Obama's National Economic Council. By the way, I think Larry's a really smart guy. Yeah, sure, okay, he's really lefty compared to me, but not even these days so much. I mean, he was ousted from Harvard because he said something about women in science that, you know what, people flipped out about. And this was even before cancel culture was really big and on steroids. So Larry has that experience literally himself. He was Treasury Secretary, and you know what? Like, that's good, right? Like, he's a smart guy, economically speaking. He's one of the few people out there that was willing to say, be careful to the Federal Reserve when they wanted to print all that money, because he said, you know what's going to happen? It's going to be like, Paris in August. Paris shuts down in August because everybody goes away on vacation, and boom, what happens in September when it opens up? Business gets back to rolling. He also said you can think about it like Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard. When we were shut down in March 2020, which went on forever, right? The whole economy was shut down. He said, as soon as it opens back up, boom, you're going to have massive pent-up demand. And it was so obvious, right? Like, it was just, I mean, I sat here pounding the table saying, what is the Federal Reserve doing? Over and over again to you guys, like, we're going to get inflation. The only other person that I know of that was doing this, and I was doing it before Larry, by the way, was Larry Summers. So I consider him a pretty smart guy. I think it's good to have him on the board. I just question whether or not you can have this board that is just concerned with public interest, right? It's like, it kind of goes back to the ESG stuff. Like, if you're a for-profit company, why are you sitting there saying, well, do we have enough diversity on our board and enough this on the board? No, you're supposed to say, can we make enough money? Thank you very much. For our shareholders, thank you very much. I don't care that, you have purple hair and you're this, that, and the other. I only care that you have the raw intelligence and the experience to be able to do the jobs that you can guide our company and help us make a lot of money.